everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jennifer, and today we are playing with Clé de Peau. I have a full face of Clé de Peau. Some products are newer to the market, like the foundation, and some have been around for quite some time, but they are new to me. So if you're interested in seeing that, just stay tuned. Hey everybody. So as I said in my intro, we're going to be playing with Clé de Peau today, and I'm going to do a full face. Clé de Peau is actually a brand that is, it sounds corny, but near and dear to my heart. It's the brand, the first luxury brand that I invested in regards to skincare. When I was in my early 30s. I had started using La Mer here and there, but having an entire system, you know, the whole thing from the cleanser to the essences to the creams and the night cream and the eye cream, the whole thing. Clé de Peau was the line that I invested in first. And I literally went to the Neiman's counter, the Neiman store in Tyson's Corner, the Clé de Peau counter, and bought all of it. Just all of it. And absolutely love the brand. The concealer stick is one of the few that I actually like and need to repurchase. In fact, that's something I'm going to put on my list when I pick up holiday. I really haven't had a lot to conceal over the years because my skin, I don't really have breakouts, although I'm having them now, but I have more lines and wrinkles and stuff, which is not really what you use a concealer stick for. But I will be purchasing that. The foundations, I have the cream foundation, which is an amazing foundation if you're dry. So I use it in the winter. Luminizers, just so many products that I've loved. But over the years, I have broken up my skincare so that I have products from different brands. Retrové is a favorite brand. Chantecaille is a favorite brand. There's actually some Chanel that I like, skincare-wise. La Mer. I use different products, Sisley, from different brands. So I don't invest in a full line of any one brand anymore. I kind of have favorites that I've chosen that work for me. And the makeup of Clé de Peau, I've actually always liked. It's just never been my favorite. But there are things that they do that I think they do extremely well. And I think it has an aesthetic that appeals to a lot of, and I'm going to say older people. I don't think you have to be older to like their aesthetic. I just noticed that it tends to lean towards an older demographic. I think that's because their colors and their shades are subtle. There's not a lot of pigment necessarily in the shadows, although that's not quite right, because the shadows can actually be quite pigmented, but I just mean they're not not a lot of sparkle, not duochrome, that kind of thing. They are really good for more mature skin. The price point is higher, so generally in life you have more disposable income as you get older. Not always, but usually. And I just think they're kind of a classic, subdued kind of branding. They don't, their colors are like this deep blue and gold, which I think is really, really pretty, but it doesn't necessarily stand out. It's just classic, pretty, beautiful, good quality products. I kind of put them in the same grouping as like a Sisley. They have a similar vibe to me. But I don't play with them that much, and I don't talk about them that much on my channel, and I'm going to try to change that because I really do like the products. So today is going to be a step in that direction by doing a full face of Clé de Peau. I'm also going to be picking up the holiday collection because I love the holiday collections that they do. Okay, hair is back. So first we're going to try this foundation. I have it in B20. B is for beige. At least I think that's what it stands for. Maybe it just means B, but I remember it being beige. And so this is technically light, medium beige. The shade under this is B10. I have B10 sometimes, and then sometimes I have B20. I feel like B20 works better. They also have an O and an I. off the top of my head right now, I can't remember whether O is the neutral or the warm or the I is. I can't remember. But I will say this. One of them is warm. One of them is neutral. The neutral shade I can do. I think it's I. And I can do it, but it leans a little too yellow for me. Just a little bit. So I find myself drawn to the B shades. I think the B20 is a little better for me. When I get matched, though, they usually match me with B10 because my skin is very, very pale. On the rest of like my body, I think, you know, if you notice, it actually is much more neutral than my face. My face is pinker because of the rosacea. So I think that's why I tend to get more of like the neutral. I think more neutral shades can look good on me, but it doesn't necessarily match up with my face. So I'm a little tricky to match. But anyway, so this is B20. We're going to try it. We're going to see if it works. In the cream foundation, I have B10 and B20. I use depending on if I get any sun at all. Okay, so this is the Radiant Fluid Foundation. It has an SPF of 25, and this is relatively new to the market. It came out a while ago. I think it came out in Europe and then came out here very, very recently. I'm just looking to see. It says, a liquid foundation inspired by the radiance of a diamond imbues skin with a healthy glow and a beautifully natural finish. I always love the words that they use for these things. Like, yeah, sure. A hybrid of makeup and skincare, exclusive light empowering enhancer. These are all good things. Formulated with skin empowering illuminator. Okay. I like it. I like it. I like it. All right, let's try it out, shall we? I always shake a bottle. I don't know why. I just do. I shake a bottle. That's what I do. And this is a pump. Usually with foundations, you gotta pump a little bit to get the air out. Okay. Pretty creamy. I mean, creamy, but liquidy enough. And I think you can see when it goes on my skin why I say I'm the B20 and not the B10. I think the B10 is a little too light. Now, the B20 might be a little too warm. We're about to, a little too deep, I should say. We're about to find out. So let me get my brush. I've been using the Sonia G Jumbo Base Brush, which I'm very much enjoying. And let's see how this works. Yeah, I think the B20 is the right shade. I think B10 is too light. Now, of course, it is the summer, so I guess ostensibly I could have some, tan, but I don't think I do. I'm pretty careful not to go outside. If you hear any noise in the background, that is a fan. I've got the fan going for the dogs because it's pretty warm here in Massachusetts, at least for Massachusetts. Other parts of the country, it's, not warm to you guys at all, but for here it is. It's pretty warm. All right, I think that looks pretty nice. It looks radiant. Went on easily. No weird pores, Nice, not too thick. I'm going to put on a little bit more. We'll see if we can build it. I am considering buying the Chanel, is it the Ultra Latent? I can't remember exactly the name of it. It's the one that's considered more full coverage that they just reformulated. And I saw Aileen on A Merch Beauty do it. Now she has a very different skin type than I do, no doubt. But I haven't tried like a matte foundation or like a more coverage foundation in a very long time. So I'm kind of tempted because I don't know, it looked really good on her, and it looked like it was formulated to be thin enough that you could stretch it and that it wouldn't, you know, be too thick and cakey. So, I don't know. I'm thinking about it. It would be interesting to see if it looked good on me. I'd be interested. Now that my skin especially is a little less dry, because my skin lately has been, I would say combination, which that's not normal for me. Okay. I think that's a good match for my face. I think the B20 is the right shade. I don't think I'm the B10. I think the B10 would be too light. Okay, good. Good. I do not have a Clé de Peau bronzer. I also need to change when I buy the holiday collection. I've seen the bronzer a bunch of times and I've heard good things. It just looks really warm to me. So anybody who has the bronzer, I think there's like 2 shades or 3 shades, and they're like triangles. There's like 2 different shades in a compact. At least I think so. Maybe I'm imagining that, but I thought that's what Clé de Peau had. Anyway, let me know what you think, and if you think they are very warm. They just looked all very warm to me, and I don't mind a warmer bronzer, but I don't like a very warm bronzer. I just don't think it works for me. So anyway, today we'll use the Gucci bronzer. I think that'll work just fine. I also don't have the Clé de Peau powder. I've heard good things about the powder, and I don't have that either. So, you know, I gotta get on these things. Yeah, it literally was. Like, I remember, like it was yesterday, going into Neiman's and going to the Clé de Peau counter and just, you know, buying an entire line of skincare. And that was the first time, frankly, the first time I could afford to do that. And the first time I really felt like I wanted to do that. Like I liked the brand enough. I had been, you know, researching it, and I had tried some products and I had gotten samples. The people at the counter had been really nice to me and were happy to supply, you know, samples of all the products, and I had been trying them out and I really liked them and I didn't have any problems with them. At the time I didn't have rosacea. Well, I had a little bit of rosacea, but not real rosacea. But, you know, I still had my same skin. I was just younger, a lot younger. Okay, so I think so far the foundation looks really nice. I'm pleasantly surprised. I think it looks really, really good. Okay, so we have a cream blush and we have highlighter, Luminizer. I think we'll do the Luminizer first. So I have 16 and 17. I also have the holiday one from last year. But for the moment, let's just use the ones that I've just recently picked up, and I will show you both of those and swatch them for you. The 17, I believe, is lavender or something like that, like the name. And it is really beautiful, but it is a cool toned luminizer. There we go. Very pretty. And the case looks like this. Isn't that gorgeous? I love the prism effect. Anyway, so you can also buy the refills for all of these. So you can buy the case and just get the refill. And I bought this one as just the refill. This is number 16. I think this one's almond. And I was saying in my haul video, I couldn't remember exactly why I got this one as a refill and not as a... And I think partially it was, I think there were some that were sold out, but I also think there was this like 100, basically if you spent $500, you get $100 off, which would be 20%. But I wanted it to be exactly $500, so I got 20% off. And so I had to like arrange the products so that it was like that. So I think that's how I ended up with one in a refill and one in a case. But anyway, it doesn't really matter because I will eventually buy the case. I'll probably do it for the holiday. All right, let's take the KZ03 highlighting brush. And I'll swatch both of these for you in just a moment, but let me put this one on my face. Like I said, this is the number, make sure I've got the right number. I don't want to mix them up. This is the 16. And if you've never used a Clé de Peau powder or highlighter before, they really do a wonderful job. They are very finely milled, and you'll never really have to worry about sparkle or glitter, you know, like that's just not an issue, or I've never had it be an issue with Clé de Peau. Their products work very, very well and are subtle but beautiful. And, you know, the luminizers and the powders that they have are so well done. Pretty much whatever shade you get is going to be stunning. So I'll be picking those up for holiday. So let me show you the 16. I'm going to show you it on the back of my hand. I'm going to overdo the swatch because this is a, you know, luminizer highlighter, so it's kind of hard to see. But that's 16. I'm just moving my hand so maybe you can see it a little better, but it's difficult because it's a highlighter. And then I will show you 17, which is this cooler, almost like whiter highlighter. There we go. I think you can see it better now. Here's 16. I'm sorry, here's 16, and here's 17. You can see 16 is more like almost like an almond. It almost blends with my skin tone, more subtle. 17 has more of that lavender white shift to it. Okay, so we've got that on. Let's put the blush on. Now, these are cream blushes. I have not used their cream blushes before. This is the first time I've used their cream blushes. This is number 4. I'll show you a swatch of it. I was gonna get more, but 2 things happened. One, there were a bunch of shades that were sold out. And 2, I got a sneak peek, and now I think a lot of us have because we've seen it on Tavia, Chic Profile Official, and Angel Naked One, the holiday collection and others for Clé de Peau. And so there's going to be 2 cream blushes in that collection. So I was kind of like, I think it's okay if I pick up just one. So I did. I picked up just one. But I have heard really good things. So if I really like this one, and which I do, I gotta say, we'll see how it wears. But when I go to get the holiday collection, maybe I will also pick up some more blushes. Yeah, this shade is really pretty. I think 4 was described as a peach, but this goes more, or maybe I, you know, I looked at a lot of different shades, and like I said, I was trying to match it up to get the, you know, the exact 500 number so I can get 20% off. So maybe I misread, but I thought it was peach, but I don't know, it looks a little bit more like pinkish on me, but it is really pretty. Whatever the shade, it's number 4. Whatever the shade name, I do really like that. Very natural, very radiant, and I think you get that from the foundation as well. So we've got lips. I don't have a mascara. I don't have the Clé de Peau concealer stick anymore. I gotta get that. I gotta add that to my list. So I think next is eyes. Yeah, eyes, okay. So the 2 that I picked up 305 and 311. Now, I did have the names for these. I'll make sure they're down in the description box, so if you decide you want to order them, you know what the names are. But I have forgotten what the names are, to be blunt. There were a lot of different ones to choose from that all looked like really appealing to me. And I went back and forth. I can't even tell you how many times I went back and forth and asked a whole bunch of people, like, which one should I get? There's this one, which is 311. Which I think is really pretty. I think this is a really gorgeous color story. And I'm very excited to try this one. There was like, honestly, there were so many that I wanted to try. I was like, oh, I'll get that one, I'll get that one. And then I decided to end up getting the more neutral one because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use this one more often. And this is 305. So I'm gonna use this one today. I don't have the cases. Again, I think it was, I don't think these were sold out. I think it was more a question of getting to the right price point. So, but I will order some. I will order some for when I do holiday. And holiday is so much closer than you'd think, even though it's the end of August / beginning of September. Let's swatch these first. I don't remember holiday being this early. Maybe it was, and I don't know. Maybe I just never shopped it this early. Like maybe it was really early and, you know, I, as a consumer, didn't shop it as early as it was available. But I doubt that because I got limited editions on things for the holidays, and I don't remember getting holiday in August. So, or September for that matter. These are all really pretty. Really smooth, really satiny, definitely pigmented, not like super pigmented, but certainly pigmented enough. And just to like underscore what I mean by that, there are shadows that are super pigmented and there are brands that are known for being super pigmented. Pat McGrath is one. You know, her Mothership palettes, they are super pigmented. And that's fantastic. I mean, it's great. One, you might just want a more pigmented palette. They are, you know, they have the ability to work on a lot more people because you can work on a very pale skin tone, a very deep skin tone. So those are all good things with a more pigmented palette. However, if you are somebody who likes a really light look, like say for the example, the Tom Ford Rose Prisme, I was really surprised. I got a lot of comments about how much people liked that look, which is why I'm always careful when I say I don't like something. I try not to call it like a fail. It's only a fail to me if it doesn't live up to its quality or it just doesn't work. Like some things I've used just don't work. And I'm like, well, that's just a fail. I'm sorry. Like it's just not well done. But for a look, I try to be careful how I phrase it because even though I might not like it, someone else might really like it. And there were a lot of people who actually liked the Rose Prisme look, which is surprising to me because it was so unpigmented. It was so light. So what that indicates to me is that there's a lot of you out there who really do like a very understated look, like very understated. So something like a Cle de Peau or Sicily is pigmented enough. These are pigmented shades. They all went on beautifully. They all swatched perfectly, but they're not, you know, super pigmented, take one swatch and it's going to go all the way down your arm kind of thing. That's not really the aesthetic. But they're certainly pigmented enough to give you the look that you want and to look really good on the eye. And there's also been the discussion, frankly, and I think it's true, the more mature skin that you have, sometimes a really pigmented eyeshadow can be problematic. I'm going to use the deepest shade. Now, when I say problematic, I think that means it can accentuate texture and crepiness. Not always, but it can. Sonia G crease 2 brush, you know, maybe you don't care. Maybe you don't mind that it accentuates that. That's also possible. So again, I try to be careful when how I phrase these things, but I think that's pretty pigmented. I mean, now I will say though, I have used some Clé de Peau products that weren't pigmented enough, at least for me. And usually I see that in their like holiday palettes sometimes. We'll see what happens with this holiday collection. I'm still gonna buy it. Don't get me wrong. But I have noticed in previous holiday palettes that the shades in the eyeshadow were not as, they weren't as good in my opinion as like these quads. So we'll see. They were more powdery. And again though, I have passed some of those products on to people in my life who really don't want much of a makeup look, and they love them. So, you know, it might not have worked for me, but it certainly works for a lot of people. What I guess my preference, if I had to kind of outline it, is I like something like this. Like this would be my kind of preference in formula. I like something that is pigmented enough that I don't have to mess with it, that I can put it on a brush and know that I'm gonna get the look that I want easily. I don't have to build it. I don't have to put it on for like half an hour because I don't have time. But that also, if I put too much on, I can like shear it out. I don't have to really worry about it. I love the Pat McGrath formula. It's amazing. It's revolutionary. Like some of the shades she has, I mean, miraculous. Like I said, that's why she's Pat McGrath. I mean, you know, amazing. But I don't, and this is just me speaking for my lifestyle, I don't find myself reaching for a Pat McGrath Mothership palette every day as a general makeup look for me. It's just not what I do. So I prefer something like this, Viseart, this, Sydney Grace. There's lots of them that are pigmented and certainly have shimmers and sheers and all kinds of different types of shades, but you know, are frankly a little more user-friendly. Can I do all the glitter looks and do something? Yeah, I can, but I don't usually. My liner work doesn't really lend itself to that. And I usually don't have time. Like, honestly, when I'm doing like a day-to-day look, I put on like 2 to 3 shades if I'm lucky. Sometimes it's 1 shade. So for all of you out there who are kind of like, well, you know, I don't know if I want to invest in this because I don't really like, I would never use all those shades and stuff. I get that. You know, my job here is to show you all the options and then you can decide what works for your lifestyle. If you have the time and inclination to do, you know, really creative, great makeup looks and you want to have something that has lots of options, you know, like some of those bigger palettes are awesome. But I know that a lot of people, and now I can confirm that from some of the comments in the Rose Prismy palette, are really looking for something way more understated. So just, you know that I get that and I try to provide both, or at least the ability to do both, depending on what kind of, you know, makeup you pick up. So BK Beauty, this is the 202 brush. We're gonna go in with the browner of the satin shades, not the lightest. So like this one has a little bit more brown. This one has a little bit more grayish, I call it. Both beautiful. And again, if I was doing this just for a normal like me look, I probably would just put this shade on and then like this shade and then I'd use the lightest. I might not even do that. I might just use like the grayish shade all over my lid and just be like, I'm done. Run out the door. And if I was like, you know, on vacation, like if I was traveling for fun, I probably wouldn't even, I don't even know if I'd wear makeup. I mean, honestly, I'd wear a little bit, but I wouldn't wear a lot. I don't wear a ton of makeup when I'm just like going places for fun. For work, yes, I absolutely do. And if I'm going to a place like where I'm going out at night, I absolutely do. But you know, if I'm going to the beach or if I'm, going to a lot of places and running around, I don't wear a ton of makeup. It's just, I want my skin to look really good. I spend a lot of time and effort on that. It's why skincare is so important to me. And then I will use, a really good, like, couple of products, but not a ton of products. Makeup for me is fun, and I use it as like a creative outlet. And I love wearing it like out if I'm going somewhere, like to dinner or whatever, like that kind of thing. And for work, I use it. But like as just an everyday kind of thing, I'm pretty actually minimalist in what I wear most of the time. Okay, so the grayish color, if I can find, I want a little bit of a smaller. Let's use the Wayne Goss 04 brush. But I will admit the Rose Prisme was even a little too, like, I was like really surprised that everybody liked, not everybody, some people really disliked it, but there were a lot of people who were like, oh, I really like the look. I was like, huh, okay. I mean, that's cool too. I'm glad people liked it. That's the great thing about makeup. You can find something, hopefully, for everybody, you know? And you can do you. Like, you can find the look that you like and do that. You don't have to do what everybody else does. You should do it what makes you happy and what you enjoy. This is a beautiful palette. This is really like a stunningly beautiful palette. I really like this. Let's take, this is a Refer 27 brush. It's just kind of like a fluffy brush. And I'm gonna take that lightest shade and kind of use it up here. The only thing I wish, I guess, I mean, it's fine. I would probably, instead of this goldish kind of shade, I'd probably do more of a, I don't know, cream. Like this one's a little deep, not deep. What is the word I'm looking for? I guess I would do something a little bit more cream, like a little lighter in shade. It's not like bad. I just would probably use something a little bit lighter to kind of highlight that a little bit more. But I mean, I'm being nitpicky at this point. All right, let's take the lightest shade. I'm just gonna use my finger and just kind of put a little bit of that gold like right on the eye. Yeah, this shade, they're all beautiful, but like I said, if I was curating my own palette, I think I would have picked a shade that was just like a little bit lighter to kind of act as a brightener a little bit. But again, I'm being super nitpicky. I mean, the overall look is really pretty. It's really, really nice. And this, I think, is a great, everyday, beautiful palette. And as I went on and on about a couple minutes ago, every day is subjective. I'm gonna use that deepest shade as liner. Every day depends on lots of things. What you like, your job, where you work, where you live. Living here in Boston, we Bostonians, fashion is not like the #1 thing in a place like Boston. I think everyone has gotten a little bit, I'm gonna use this as on the upper lash line too, a little bit more casual in their design and their fashion sense over the last 16 months. I think, we've all been staying at home and well, not all of us, but many of us have been staying at home, working from home. And I think, style has become a little more casual, and I don't think that will go back. But I would say in general, I've lived in Colorado, Denver. I've lived in Boston. I've lived in Washington, D.C. And I can tell you, Boston is definitely more of a casual dress code kind of city. We don't have great weather. It's really cold in the winter and the spring. And, you know, you're wearing your hoodie, you're wearing your leggings, and you're wearing your boots. That's kind of, it's not really, you know, a fashion plate kind of place. I've spent some time in many cities, in Chicago and LA and New York. And those are much more, in my opinion, fashionable cities. I'm not dissing Boston. I moved back here. I love it here. But I just think, you know, it's not really a place where you see like the latest trends and like the latest looks. That's just not, it's not who we are. So for me and for the city I live in and the person that I am, this is an everyday look and I think it's stunningly beautiful and I love it. There may be like, if you were in LA or New York, you're probably going to say that there may be more people who do like more, I don't want to say outlandish because that's not the word I'm looking for, but just, you know, more, just more, which is not something you generally, you know, see here in New England. Okay, so I'm going to put on mascara. I don't have a Clé de Peau mascara. I feel like I did, but I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if it went bad or what. Another thing to add to the list. Okay, I'm going to put on mascara and then we're going to get to lips. Got mascara on. I really love this look. I think this looks really good. I mean, I'm laughing. There are some days when I look at my face and I'm just like, what happened? But today, I really like this look. I think my skin looks good. I'm really loving the foundation. We'll see how it wears, but I really like the finish. I really think it looks good. The cream foundation, the cream blush, perfect. Luminizer, loving it. I've loved luminizers for a long time. The eyeshadow, like I said, I think it's gorgeous. For me, this is an everyday, beautiful look. Like this is something I'd wear for work. This is something I'd wear for conferences. I think it looks stunning, but I also think this could work as like a night look if you just, you know, pumped it up a little bit, like smoked it out a little bit more, or if you like something even less than this, if you're more of that rose, I'm going to use this forever now, rose prismatic kind of person, then you take one or two of the shades, you don't use the deepest shade, and then you just sort of lightly put it all over the eye with a very fluffy brush. I think that would be stunning as well. So I am so happy. I want to thank Gita and Lexi and Jen and Farah and I'm sure I'm leaving people out and I'm so sorry. I asked a lot of questions about the Clé de Peau eyeshadows, like which one to get, and because I wasn't sure, because I haven't used their eyeshadows in some time, but I really do like the formula. I don't really know why I got away from it in the first place, so I'm very happy that I'm on the road to picking up more of them. Okay, so lip products. So Clé de Peau, of course, has lipsticks. That's not a shock. And I don't know why I said it like that. They also have like these lip products that kind of come in a screw up cylinder. I don't really know the way to say that is. This shade, which I cannot remember the name of right now, is one of my favorites. And I've had this for a long time. And I feel like they discontinued it, but I'll have to double check because this is like one of my favorite shades. And so I have to remember what the name of this one is because I don't right now. And then this is Perfect Peach, which is more of, I forget what the name of this one is too. It's like the glossier one. Is it on here? This is the Refined Lip Luminizer. And that's the peach shade. I do really like that one as well. And then there's the Radiant Liquid Rouge Shine lipsticks that come in these like little square things. This is in Sepia. It's a really good shade. It's a good neutral. So this is sepia. This is the Perfect Peach, I think it is. Yeah, Perfect Peach. And then this one I cannot for the life of me remember the name of. This one over here, which I really, really like the shade of, but since I can't remember the name. All right, I'm gonna use that one today because it is like one of my favorites. There we go. Now, like I said, if I can just figure out the name of it. It's got like a rosewood shade to it. That's really what it looks like. And I feel like it was rosewood or something like that. Anyway, I'll put it down below. But you know, they're all kind of neutrally shades, I will admit. None of these are like a bright red or anything like that. I generally don't wear it. But this is like the deepest. And I think it's like rosewood or something. Anyway. And then the peach and then the sepia. They're all really, really pretty. Different formulas, but they're all kind of glossy. I, as you know, if you watch my channel, don't really go for the mattes. I like, you know, glossier kind of formulas, so these all work really well for me. I like the Clé de Peau formulas. I like their lip products. I like their eye products. I evidently like their cheek products. I've always liked their luminizers. This foundation is wearing really well and looks really nice on the skin. It looks really, really good. So I need to pick up cases for these things. I need to pick up more eyeshadows. I need to pick up liners. I need to pick up more lip products. I'm gonna have a heavy duty holiday order, but it's okay. I need to build out my Clé de Peau collection again. Like I said, you know, I used to have a lot of it. Like when I invested in the whole line of skincare, I bought a whole bunch of beauty products as well. But that was, you know, quite some time ago, almost 20 years ago. So I need to reinvest in the line because I loved it. I think I moved away from it in some regards because I was trying out so many different new things and new products that I did fall in love with. But sometimes it's good to go back and remember why you liked things in the first place. And I really do love the Clé de Peau products. So I'm definitely going to be adding more of them to my repertoire as we go through. So hopefully, hopefully I will be as pleased with all of the products as I am today. I will make sure all the details are in the description box below, and I will let you know how the foundation wears, but right now it's excellent. I think the B20 is the perfect shade, so that makes me happy. And I'll keep you updated on what I start picking up, and I'll make sure I add those to the videos. And then, like I said, the holiday collection is right around the corner, so I'll be placing a very large order when I do that. So thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. And I hope to see you in another video really soon.